Hey there guys, what's up? It's Autobot Mike 18 here with another one of my TV episode reviews. Guys, we are into another week of True Detective. That is right, that is the show that I've been reviewing for the last couple weeks. That's the show I am going to continue reviewing. We got ourselves another new episode of True Detective tonight, guys, and I am here with another review. I'm going to try to breeze through this review, guys, because I got a lot of things going on. I'm going to post right after I upload this video a channel update explaining that I'm going to be off of YouTube for a week because I'm going on vacation, so I'm in the process of getting ready, so things are a little hectic here, so I'm going to try to breeze through this review. And I'll give you this review. I'll give you a quick channel update after this video. In another video, I'm going to upload both. And then a whole week I'm going to take a break from uploading. And then next week, next Tuesday or Wednesday, I will be back uploading videos, normal videos on my channel. So just to make that known briefly, guys, my next True Detective episode review is going to be up late. Probably about 3 days later than the air date because I'm not going to get to watch the episode till when I get back home. So anyway, guys, with that said, let us get into the discussion of tonight's newest episode of True Detective, which is Season 2, Episode 3, Maybe Tomorrow, is the name. And in case anyone wasn't clear about this, or you haven't seen my other episode review, spoiler heavy, going to go in-depth with spoilers on tonight's episode. Now, first thing I want to address before I get into anything is how everybody was feeling at the end of last week's episode. I was appalled that so many people really thought that, obviously spoilers, spoiler heavy, guys. I was appalled that so many people seriously believed that Colin Farrell was dead. I mean, I think it's unheard of to kill off a character you've established so well. He's the backbone of the show. I think it's unheard of to kill him off in the end of episode 2 of an 8-part season, 8-episode season. It's just unheard of. So not only was that why I was just so skeptical of that, but there are several scenes of in the trailers where showing scenes that didn't even happen in the show yet, and there are shots with Colin Farrell with Rachel McAdams and Taylor Kitsch, so you know that these scenes are going to happen with him in it. So I knew he was going to be alive, and he was alive. Okay, he survived the whole escapade. It was rubber bullets. That's what that masked crow man. They shot him with rubber bullets. All right. I just wanted to establish that. Did any of you guys really think Velcoro was dead? Okay, just be honest with me. Let me know down below. I mean, yeah, all right. If you didn't see the trailers, then yeah, you have good reason to believe that he actually got killed. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It was still a great way to end the episode. It left us all shocked and speechless. But as soon as they open tonight's episode, and then we get the shot, it's like pushing in, and we see the body. I'm like, Twitch, please, Twitch, don't really be. I'm like, he's not dead. All right, he's not dead. And then I'm sitting there, I'm watching it, and my brother's in the room, and he's paying attention to something else, not watching the show, and I'm like, he's not dead. Oh crap, don't tell me he's dead. And then my brother just looks over me. He's like, what's wrong with you? Anyway, guys, I'm going to break down tonight's episode like I have broken down the last 2 episodes. I think I'm going to go into characters again. Since we've got our 4 characters, I think I'm just going to break it down by characters, really. And this time, I think I'm going to break it down with Velcoro and Annie Bezahidris. I think I'm going to add them together, just explain their story together, because for the majority of this episode, they're together, I'd say. I'd say there's probably the first half of the episode, it's really Annie and Paul, Taylor Kitsch's character, going around getting some evidence. They visit the mayor's house, blah, blah, blah. Then we get her and Velcoro back together as the 2 heads of this case. Meanwhile, Paul starts to investigate, the prostitutes and the call girls that are on the streets. So I think I'll start off with Frank. I don't know if I think I probably do usually start off with Frank. I don't know. But basically, things aren't getting any easier for Frank. Let's just say that much. I love how this episode starts off with him. I think last episode it was really cool how they started off with that story he gave about him being trapped in the basement. That was pretty awesome. This week, his introduction is he can't get it up with his wife, Kelly Riley. She wants to pleasure him orally, and he can't get it up for the most part. I'm like, oh, Frank, you poor bastard. If you didn't have this problem going on, if you didn't invest all this money into Caspere, then, I mean, with a wife like Kelly Riley, okay, I think anybody could get it up. Even the person who's been suffering from erectile dysfunction for 5 years. Anyway, that's not the point. But the point of that whole scene is to show that he's on edge. Okay, Frank is just not himself. He is slowly spiraling out of control. He is desperate beyond belief to find out who is targeting him per se, who is taking his money here or there, and it's really starting to bother him. He has no idea where to turn at this point, and he goes back to Ray. After we find out that Ray survived the whole shootout, or the whole being shot, because it was rubber bullet blowback. They sit down in their usual spot in the bar. This time in the beginning of the episode, which, all right, I get that they meet there. All right, I get it. Are we going to see that every episode? I don't know. Another real quick thing I just want to throw in there, guys. There's an insane amount of over the head aerial shots of LA and highways in LA. I think they really got it. There wasn't that many this week as there have been in previous weeks, but that's just a little minor problem, or not problem, just a minor thing I'm noticing. But I would say the highlight of Frank's storyline in this episode tonight happens right around, not only when he blames or when he feels that this Osip guy, remember that like suave looking guy who came into the first episode, his name was Osip, and he had come, I think he'd come from a flight from Japan or something crap like that. I don't remember. I really don't remember a lot of like the really minor secondary characters. Like I just don't remember their faces. But there's this guy named Osip, and he's basically, I think he's like a head above Frank or something. I don't really know. And Frank starts to accuse him maybe of what's the word I'm looking for? Of knocking off of killing Caspere. I wanted to pick a different word from killing. I couldn't think of one. Offing Caspere. So he's basically, I think his problem is he's extremely paranoid, and he has an incredible, like, he has a great reason to do so. I mean, this guy is screwed royally, and his funds are just like going like into the wind, like they're just disappearing, and he has absolutely no control over it until he finds this guy. So he is just going into the most deepest, desperate places, and I don't know, I feel like we need more of him. I really liked what they did with his character tonight. I thought it was really interesting how he got the beat down on that pimp guy, Santos, I think his name was. The guy who had the grill from last episode, who's back in this episode, owns that, or was an associate of Frank's, owns that club, strip place, and yeah, I mean, I think it's just desperation is really setting in at this point for Frank, and I think we're getting like sort of the same story beats of just him interrogating people, and I really want to just see them do something with his character, like make him even more desperate or something. I mean, I just feel like the stakes are high. I don't know if it's Vaughn's performance that just, like, I just don't feel like he feels threatened. And maybe you could argue he's trying to keep his cool, but that's how I felt for the first half of tonight's episode. Then he discovers that one of his guys who's working for him, his name is Stan, does not show up to when he calls for him. When he has his henchmen working for him or whatever, and they discover his body, and he's pissed. Okay, so he knows that somebody killed this guy. Maybe it is in connection with the Caspere thing. Maybe whoever killed Caspere killed Frank's henchman, Stan. But it's starting to really freak him out at this point. He doesn't know what the hell to do. So now he gets desperate, and he has a whole rendezvous meeting of a bunch of associates he's known in the past at a club. It just so happens to be the same club that Paul goes to in the end of the episode, and I love that moment where Paul and Frank bump into each other, and they're just staring at each other. I really want to see, I want to see those two characters meet, because they're connected obviously to all this. Paul is working with Ray and Frank is that mobster cop duo that's working together ever since that whole incident from Ray's past where that guy abused his wife, sexually assaulted his wife. Anyway, so he's talking with his old associates who he's had business deals with. I guess he's helped grow their businesses, their own strip lounges and their own clubs and everything. And that one heavy guy with the grill in his mouth just takes charge and says, "No, I'm not doing this for you. I get that you've helped us in the past, but that was then, this is now, and I'm not helping you with this shit." And they just have a brawl, and you could just tell Vince Vaughn's gonna just dominate, and he did. But it was pretty cool to just see him get the bet. And then he took the pliers and started going in the guy's mouth and trying to rip the grill off. Oh my god, that was a great moment. That is all we see of Frank, and then the episode ends with him coming home to his wife, and she just wants to talk. They're obviously not on good terms because of the beginning of the episode, and she's just like, "I feel we should talk. I feel we should need to make up. We shouldn't be like this at this point. We should be together. I could help you through this, blah, blah, blah." And he's just like, "Maybe tomorrow." And then she just walks out, I think. So just, I love how that title tied into the episode. But Frank's storyline, I feel really needs to spice it up. I get that he lost a lot of money here, but I just don't feel the stakes. Like, the tension's just not really there for me. And it really wasn't the first half of this episode. For his storyline, the first half of his episode wasn't there. And I really think it needs to be there. It needs to have more of a force. And I don't know. I don't find him that threatening. And that was my fear going into this with Vince Vaughn. And I thought he was doing good the first couple episodes. He's doing fine. I just don't see that threatening side of him. I want that to just break out. I know I can tell Vaughn has it in him. I really can. I just want to see it fully break out. I want him to fully just go off on people. I don't know. I feel it's coming. I'm just waiting. Anyway. That's Vince Vaughn's storyline for the night. Nothing, like, he's just going around looking for answers. Nothing of merit is just really just, like, breaking through the roof here. So next I'll get into Ray and Annie. I want to save Paul's for last, because this was the episode where he finally improved, made me say to myself, alright, I'm starting to get into what his character's going on. Because if you watch my last two reviews, I was not a fan of what they were doing with this character. I really felt he had no place. I was starting to ask myself, why is he even here? They didn't even need to cast Taylor Kitsch. They could have cast some nobody and just use him as a secondary character that doesn't even have that much screen time. And I just felt we haven't been getting enough of him. Tonight I think we did, even though we could have got more, but I was impressed with what they showed us, and I'm impressed that they're slowly unraveling what's going on or what happened in Paul's past. But anyway, let's talk Ray and Annie right now. I'll get into Ray first, I guess, because he had a couple other side plots. I think Annie really only had this one other side plot. She basically ends it with this cop she was dating. I can't remember whether or not it was the cop from the first episode that, the guy she slept with, and he wasn't comfortable with some of the things she wanted to do. I can't remember if it was the same guy. I don't remember the face. But she just breaks it off, and he's just like, "What, are you serious?" And then that was really the end of that. There was nothing too monumental that happened there. But let me get into Ray's, side plots and everything. I think, first off, I did not know, or I didn't put it together last week when he went into that house. I had no idea that was the same house that Frank got the info for. Because if you remember, he went to that club and asked Santos, the heavy guy with the grill, and one of the girls gave him that address for this like house that Ben Caspere went to with some girls, had gone to from time to time. And Frank did give that information to Ray, and I did not know that was the same house that Ray went to. I thought it was just something different. I thought it was his own house for a second. I didn't know. But it was. It's revealed early on that was the house. So whoever shot him with the rubber bullets, the guy in the crow's mask, obviously must have was involved in Ben Caspere's death. Probably killed Ben Caspere. I don't know. But he shot Ray with the rubber bullets. And also there was a video camera going on. I think they took the video camera, or they took the card in the camera. I don't remember. But Ray wakes up after having this really trippy-ass dream. He's in the bar, and I'm like, alright, is this like a flashback or like a flash forward or something? It was just a trippy dream he was having. And he wakes up, ambulance comes, takes a day off. He's got a couple cracked ribs. He goes to the doctor, and we discover his health is not that great, and we can obviously infer they're basically like we know why his health isn't that essential at this point. His this whole mess going on with his son, and his ex-wife, and how she wants custody, and they put further pressure on him in this episode. Yeah, so that's basically the whole beginning of Ray's storyline of this episode. And then he goes to his father's house, who apparently was an ex-cop, And his father's elderly. He gives his father some grass, and they have a whole conversation. And I just felt that scene had absolutely no place in tonight's episode. Now, don't get me wrong. Maybe it's going to tie into something later. I don't know. I just feel it wasn't doing anything for tonight's episode. I frankly feel it could have been cut. I think the only thing of merit that happened in that moment was we established that Frank has an elderly father that's still alive. They are still on a talking terms. He must visit him from time to time. And his father is sort of, I guess, disgusted with all the corruption that's going on in Vinci. So he throws out one of his old badges, which is like in this like framed cube. And Ray gets it out of the garbage and blah, blah, blah. And that's really like all that is established between the two of them. And I know in the promos for next week, we see Ray taking the cube and giving it to his son, Chad. But that's really all we go with that storyline. And I was just like, okay. I don't know. It's just they're building up to something. I know they obviously had that in there for a reason, because obviously Ray's father must have some significant importance that I just don't know about yet. And I think the other important Ray moment that happens in tonight's episode, where it's just him, is where he's back at, I think, his place working the case with Annie, and his ex-wife comes to the door, and he sees her new husband in the car parked on the street, and she tells him that a couple of state investigators came by her house questioning her about him and his past, specifically the fact that he may have killed the guy who raped her. Because obviously the feds and the state CID, they don't know about that. He's keeping that from them. He sort of did that like off the books, I'm guessing, and that's when he met Frank. So they're catching on to him, and the reason is when Annie has her meeting with like her superiors, they're basically telling her, like the state investigators, they're telling her that they still don't trust Velcoro, and they want her to simultaneously, while working this case, start to get information about Ray, and find out more about his past life, whether or not it was shady or whatnot, and if she can get evidence to indict him for crimes that he's made in the past, mistakes he's made, because they feel he's a dirty, shady cop, and they really want to get to the bottom of it. And I love how they're just like they're working both sides. Like at the moment, Ray and Annie are working together on this case. Annie's superiors want her to do one thing. Ray's guys, the people back at the Vinci Police Department, aren't trustworthy of Annie, because her and Paul went to the mayor's house without a warrant, asking around about Ben Caspere. And the mayor wasn't too happy about it. His wife wasn't happy about it. So I really like where they're going with that. That's honestly one of the most fascinating plot points here, because it shows us that when we get to that crucial point, I guess somewhere in this season, where Annie and Ray are going to have to make a choice. Like, is she going to turn on him or not? Like, is she going to bring him down along with this case? Tell her superiors every single dirty thing she will come to find out about him. I really like where they're going with that. I think they need to dedicate more time to that. They established that last week's episode, and they bring it back tonight's episode. So I'm really interested to see where they're going to go with that specifically. But I just really enjoy that plot point. And also, Ray's wife wants to give Ray $10,000 for the child support, so they can take full custody of their son. And he's obviously not against it, doesn't want to support that in any way. So meanwhile, getting back to Ray and Annie, they go and investigate. They get an image of a car that was parked somewhere at 1 a.m. the night of Ben Caspere, the night they found Ben Caspere's body, and the car belonged to a film and transportation office. It was like a limo car or something. So they go to this the site of a film crew. They're in the middle of shooting a movie. They're asking people around. They get the name of one of the drivers who quit a week before Ben Caspere was murdered, so they want to start investigating this. And later on in the end of the episode, they go and investigate or ask him a couple questions at his house, and their car gets torched. Someone lights their car on fire. So Ray and Annie see a masked man. We don't know if this guy lit their car on fire or not. We're assuming he did because he starts running. Literally my only flaw with this whole moment is, why did that guy not get out of there sooner? Did he want them to see him? I don't really know where they're going with that, but I thought that was really dumb of that guy who apparently lit their car on fire. So they chase him, and I love this scene in the episode. It's such a shame that in the last 2 episodes, the final 10 minutes are the best moments of the entire episode, because we are getting slow moments. I mean, we're building up this case, but I think there are just a lot of scenes where there's just nothing is we're getting scenes, but there's either no tension in them, or it's just they're building up to nothing at this point, and I think that's just the shame of everything. But this scene was incredible. They're chasing him on foot. He gets away, and Annie almost gets hit by a truck. Ray pulls her out of the way, and she thanks him, and he says, "Well, you really want." You really want to mean that? You'll tell me what the state, what state asking about me. What do they want from me? And she says she doesn't know. So I'm really interested to see where they're going to go with their storyline. And I still think they're 2 of the most fascinating characters on this entire show, really, to be honest. And that's all that happens with them, really, in this episode. Now I'm going to talk about Paul real quick, because I think Paul... I think they finally started to flesh him out tonight's episode. They're not just fully flat out revealing what happened in his past and what specifically is happening with him now. Because obviously the events of his past and that group he was with, I can't remember the name, the something mountain bikers, I don't remember. It was from last week. I can't remember the name. But obviously something happened in his past that is bothering him. And I said last week in my review it had to involve homosexual men. Because I feel he just has a problem with them, because he brought it up twice in last week's episode. He says if some gay guy tried to shake his hand or whatever, he would have slapped him or something. I can't remember. He just said something homophobic. And then at the end of the episode, he was watching, I think, 2 gay prostitutes on the street drinking some alcohol. And I was intrigued. I'm like, oh, maybe his past has something to do with a gay relationship or something. I was really intrigued to see where they were going to bring his storyline tonight. And for the first half of the episode, apart from where he goes with Annie to visit the mayor's house, we see none of him. And I'm just like, what are they doing with his character? Where is his importance? Why is he not, I don't know. Then we finally get more and more, we learn more and more about him. I think this episode focused more on him than it did Annie, to be completely honest. Because we really need to establish who he is as a person and what just pissed him off back then. And I like how this episode did that. Because he goes to a hockey game with one of his old buddies. They're just drinking beer, watching the game, and his buddy wanted to meet him because he heard the story in the news, or in the newspaper, about the girl who's pressing charges for allegedly him demanding a blowjob from her. Remember from the first episode. And they're leaving the game, they're talking, and the friend brings up their past. They obviously both were in this, that mountain team thing. I can't remember the name. Green Mountain something? I don't know, guys. I'm sorry. And the guy, it's like they had more than just a friendship. That's what the whole scene felt like for me. And it feels like the 2 of them maybe did something in their past that he probably regrets. Something that I think they had some sort of a relationship, maybe sexual, maybe not. And they both wanted to just put it past them. And when the friend brings it up, Paul just isn't going for it. So he pushes him on the ground and just storms off. He's pissed. So I like how they're just leaving us these little hints as to what's going on in his past. And I really like how they're doing that. And basically for the rest of the episode, he's just going around late at night, talking to hookers, showing them Ben Caspere's photo, trying to get answers. I think there was an obligatory product placement for American Sniper. He passes by a billboard, and the thing is so large in the frame. I was just like, why? But anyway, he talks to a gay prostitute on the street who brings him to the same club that Frank was at. That's when the 2 of them bump shoulders. And he talks to one of the club owners, I think, and starts to get some information that Ben, in fact, did go to this club and I think he was seeing a particular girl or something, and they ended at that basically. But I like how they gave us more of Paul in tonight's episode, and I'm interested about that. All in all, guys, that's basically everything that happened tonight's episode of True Detective. I don't know, guys. I'm getting into it. I really want to discover this mystery, but I gotta keep taking points off because I feel that just Frank's character is just not as threatening or as demanding or serious as he really should be. And I like how they established his character last week's episode. That kid stuck in that basement. I keep coming back to that scene. That is such a good scene that affected him so much. Why is he not as hardened as he should be after describing an event like that? I'm just not really buying into him that much as this gangster. And I don't think it's Vince Vaughn because I really do think he's trying. I just think that the character itself just isn't as threatening or doesn't come off as just the monster type. Yeah, he's pissed. Yeah, he's very nervous about this entire thing. He's anxious. He's on edge. But I want to see more of the threatening side. And maybe we do need. Maybe it's Vince Vaughn. I don't know yet. I really just. I just can't get into that character right at this moment. I'm getting more into Paul. I need them to keep unraveling more information though. But I think they're dropping us more and more hints. And I like where they're going with that. And then this whole Ray thing with the child support and everything, and whoever torched that car, I really love that moment. But there were some slow moments in tonight's episode. I don't know if it was better than last week's, maybe a tad bit better. But I'm going to go 8.7. I'll go 8.5 tonight, or another B. I haven't given one episode a 10 yet, or a 9 or a 10 yet, guys. I'm still waiting for that good episode. I think next week's episode looks pretty good. It looks pretty exciting. But it's not like I need like gunfights and just like foot chases for this show for me to love this show. I feel that we need to get into these characters more, and they're doing a good job with Ray and Annie for the most part, and they're slowly giving us more Paul, but I'm just not getting into Frank yet at the moment. I just want to see that threatening side of him, and I'm not really getting that, and I think that's a little bit of a problem. Other than that, guys, what did you think of tonight's new episode of True Detective? Maybe tomorrow. Let me know down below in the comments. What do you think is going on with this case? Do you think things are heating up? What is your speculation about Paul's past life? Do you think he had some sort of sexual relationship with another guy? That guy, per se, you think they wanted to just put it behind them and it's just coming back to haunt him now, and it's affecting him and how he's dealing with this case? I don't know. I'm getting into it though. I want to see more of it though. So guys, that's all I have to say about tonight's episode of True Detective. Thank you so much for watching, and check out my channel update. It's going to be up right after this video goes up. So thanks for watching, guys. Bye.